Sensible people keep their eyes glued on wisdom, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. So this is a great chance for you to think about. It could be you, it could be someone you know, someone you love, or someone you meet. The difference between keeping your eyes glued on wisdom and letting your eyes wander to the ends of the earth. In other words, squirrel, 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 squirrel. If there's all kinds of things going on, you can't focus, you don't know where to invest your time and energy. It could be foolish behavior that you're engaging in. Doesn't necessarily mean you're a fool. It's when you become aware of those sorts of things. What do you do about it? Do you change? Do you say, oh my goodness, I need to focus on wisdom and not have my eyes wandering all over the place? So I'm going to cover 5 points that relate to this topic today. The first point is, foolish children bring grief to their father and bitterness to the one who gave them birth. In other words, their mother. If grief is either coming to you from a child, because you're a mom or dad, or you gave grief to your mom or dad, think about it. That's foolishness. Time to get refocused. If you're the child that brought grief to your mom and dad, if they're still around, apologize, ask for forgiveness, change that right now so you don't bring grief to your mom and dad. If you are a parent and you have a child who's bringing grief to you, you got to get a handle on it. You can't ignore it. You can't try to pacify it. Talk to other friends of yours who have been down the whole child rearing path before. Get their counsel. A tool that we use is called the Gretchen Rubin Tendency Quiz. Go online, find that quiz, have your child take the quiz if they're old enough. I think 8 years old you can take the quiz. It'll give you some great insight into their tendencies to act and what makes them act. Rebels, for example, if you tell them you want them to do something, good luck, because they're not going to do it. They need information and choices. So some great wisdom there. So use wisdom to determine this whole grief piece. Either if you're a child giving grief to your parents, or you're a parent dealing with children who are giving you grief, or a child that's giving you grief. Do some more research, ask some questions, ask questions of your child. Have some non-judgmental, just sit down and ask questions. Try to understand why. If you keep pursuing that, and you have to, as the Bible says, discipline your children. That doesn't mean hit them. It just means teach them when they're young about these sorts of things so they won't go out into the world and it really gets them in trouble. That's the way I always look at it. Point number 3, a truly wise person uses few words. Isn't that great wisdom? So if you're wise, use few words. Before we talked about fools can appear wise in their silence. It's the same thing. If someone naturally has to go on and on and on talking about themselves or trying to explain their point, this is one that's been huge for me over the years. Still have work to do, but I'm working on cutting down the number of words that I use and not having this need to explain myself to people. If they don't understand, let them ask questions. Let me use fewer words to get the point across. So this is just a great awareness. I think anybody can benefit. So if you aspire to be a truly wise person, start looking at the number of words that you use and see if you can condense that down a little bit and still get your point across. The other thing I would add is don't feel like the goal is to either win an argument or be understood. Sometimes people aren't going to understand you, and that's okay. If you just clearly state what it is you're trying to get across. In a lot of instances, that'll be good. And if you're dealing with a wise person, they're going to ask you questions to help clarify whatever it is that is unclear in the moment. The next point, person with understanding is even-tempered. Don't lose your temper. One thing I read, I don't know where specifically in the Bible, but if you get an emotion come up, acknowledge it, don't stuff it. Sometimes I used to do that in the past. Acknowledge it, look at it, and say, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, whatever it may be. And then react in wisdom. So acknowledge emotion, act in wisdom. Everything that your emotional self puts into your awareness isn't necessary to blurt out in that next moment. A lot of times it can do more harm than good. So just remember that and remain even-tempered. Don't let somebody's comments or their body language, I'm speaking into me, believe me, because I've fallen victim to this so many times in the past. But just remember to remain even-tempered. People can accuse you of being non-emotional. That's okay. You are being even-tempered, not overreacting or underreacting. Just being even-tempered is going to naturally bring peace to whatever situation you're in. It's going to bring calm to potentially a highly emotional situation. So you want to use those things strategically and remain even-tempered. And that's how you remain focused and your eyes aren't wandering to the end of the earth. That's what this is all about. And the fifth point is the wicked take secret bribes to pervert the course of justice. Secret bribes, what does that mean? Well, that could mean literally what it says, a secret bribe. Or it could be telling a lie. It could be believing a lie, leaving out some facts. Anything that would lead you to try to preserve yourself, your pride, your ego. That's really what this one is all about. You don't want to become that wicked person who is just all about them. And I think that's what it gets down to. It's not about you. It's not about your ego. It's not about preserving pride. You don't want to be that kind of person. You don't want to be wise in your own eyes and worried about what other people think of you. It's a horrible place to be because you're going to be flapping in the wind for the rest of your life. Let me tell you, I've experienced that before. I'm sure you have too. Remember, keep your eyes glued on wisdom. And if you do that, you're going to be a lot better off, I guarantee it. So subscribe with the notification bell to receive regular updates. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button to see more like it. And comment down below. This can be with questions or answers to questions that you ask. And we will see you next time on this journey from isolation to community, where the next step beyond is freedom.